They call it Hot Atlanta for a reason, because it's hot. 97 degrees here in Atlanta today, and the Mets are trying to get hot themselves, trying to cool off the Braves in the finale of a 3-game series from Turner Field. From downtown Atlanta, it's Mets baseball on SNY as the Mets take on their rivals, the Braves. Jacob deGrom will get the start tonight for the Mets, looking for his second big league win. He's pitched great again last time out against Pittsburgh. A good outing, got a no decision in that ball game, though. And joining me now, I'm Kevin Burkhardt, by the way. Glad to have you along. Anthony Recker is here. Anthony, you certainly caught Jacob this year. In fact, the last time you caught him, he had 11 strikeouts in this game, in that game against Philadelphia. Yeah. So what do we look for? How do we know if he's on and if he's sharp early on?
Well, his fastball command's huge for him. Usually he's pretty good with it, but just keeping it down, and hopefully he's got that good movement on it. His two seams moving pretty good. His off-speed seems to always be there. His changeup's usually pretty good. If he can command his curveball and throw that over for strikes when he needs to, and then use that slider to put guys away, it'd be big.
Obviously, you caught him. How about being around him? What's impressed you the most about this rookie? He seems like, at least to me, like he belongs.
Yeah, I think what he does really well is he doesn't take the game too seriously. He's out there, he's a competitor, and obviously he goes out there and wants to win, but, he doesn't let anything really bother him. Big situations come up in the game, and he just kind of goes about it like it's, the first inning with nobody out, nobody on or something, so he never really lets the big situations get to him. He just really goes out there, focuses on every pitch.
Let me ask you about facing Teheran. You've never faced him, and very limited Mets have faced him. He's so young. But what's the word on him, and what do you think you have to do tonight to finally score, to get some runs against a guy who doesn't allow too many?
Well, we know he has his really good nights and his really bad nights. He's kind of one of those guys. He's still young, too. He has his good nights and his bad nights. So it's just a matter of, if he's being consistently down in the zone and using his two-seam really well and getting those bad contact ground balls and stuff like that, that'll we just got to try and get the ball up as well as we can, and just put good swings on him when he comes over the plate, and just keep him on the plate.
One more before we let you go. Just the feeling on this offense. You're getting hits, you're getting guys on. You're just missing that big hit. Team wide, what's the feeling on the offense?
Yeah, honestly, we feel like we're right there. Grandy's swinging the bat great. We got a couple guys in the lineup that are swinging the bat really well. It's just a matter of everybody putting it together, and right now we're getting really close. Like you said, we've had really high hit totals lately. Hits are coming. We just got to do them in the big situations, and we will.
Thank you. Best of luck to you tonight and the team.
Thank you, Kevin.
Anthony Recker and the Mets getting set to take on the Braves tonight, looking for the final game in Atlanta. We've got the first pitch to deGrom and Teheran coming up next. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. By Optimum, presenting Mets games in crystal clear HD. And by Geico. Huey Lewis and the News coming to Citi Field for a concert after the Mets-Marlins game Saturday, July 12th. It's part of the Mets concert series presented by Dwayne Reed. Catch Huey Lewis and the News live in concert July 12th. For tickets, visit Mets.com/concerts. All right, time to look and drive around the majors. It's brought to you by Cadillac. Those homer-happy Blue Jays took down the Brewers again today. They sweep the two-game series. Edwin Encarnacion with a walk-off winner for Toronto. Justin Verlander, a little shaky early on, but he finally got a win. First one since May, and the Tigers beat the A's again. They get the series sweep. And in San Diego, Tyson Ross, a complete game, 3-hit shutout, and the Padres swept the Reds after the Reds just swept the Giants. How about that? Toronto has been unbelievable at home. Mets trying to find a way to solve him. Meanwhile, Gary Cole and Keith Hernandez waiting patiently. They've got the call when we come back from Turner Field on SNY.
Wrapping up these three-game series. The Mets played so many games on the road lately. It's going to be nice to get home for 10 games, and the Mets would like to finish this road trip with a win. They're 1-5 on the trip so far.
Well, not a good spot, not a good stay in that 4-game series in Pittsburgh, and the first two here, losing the first game in the series the way they did with the 3 errors in the 8th inning. Just trying to get out of Dodge here with a victory.
By the way, he's Keith. I'm Gary. The Mets have fallen to 10 games under 500 for the first time this year. They're now 9 games behind Atlanta, and you've got 11 games till the All-Star break. I would think this is a really important time of year for the Mets to avoid getting buried before the break.
And let's not forget, in the middle of that, Gary, the homestand is a 4-game series with the division-leading Braves, so that's critical right there. A 500 against the Braves not going to pick up any ground. So yes, it's getting to a point now where the Mets got to start playing better.
23-year-old Julio Teheran has proved to be the ace of this Atlanta staff. He has had a tremendous season, particularly here at Turner Field, and that's the task for the Mets tonight. You look at the Geico starting lineup. Eric Young gets his first start in this series. Juan Lagares will hit second tonight. That knocks Ruben Tejada down to the 8th hole. Mets hoping to get David Wright back in the lineup when they return home Friday night to play Texas. That is not 100% certain, but it is certainly what the Mets are hoping as they played shorthanded through much of this road trip.
And there's the 23-year-old budding star Julio Teheran from Cartagena, Colombia. So how about that? And his home numbers that Gary alluded to earlier. 8 starts, 2-1 with an earned run average of 1.22. So he's been very effective here, to say the least. And then, of course, we'll take a look at the Coors Light Bravo defense, and they're going to go with the same lineup because they're winning. Freddie Freeman, Lestella's been a big boost for them at second base. And Christian Betancourt has been called up with the catcher for the Braves on the DL, and he's a young budding star, can throw. Reminds me a lot of Sandy Alomar Jr. We talked about that in last night's ball game.
Betancourt has handled himself well during this series, and now he catches Teheran, who had really one bad start this year at Coors Field. 4 starts back. You can certainly understand that. He gave up 7 runs. Since then, he's been right on the beam. 7 terrific innings against the Phillies his last time out. He had a 4-2 win. And the thing about Teheran, he goes deep into games. He's only 23, and yet he's second in the National League in innings pitched in an era where a lot of teams are really putting the reins on their young pitchers in terms of their innings. 2
shutouts this year, complete game shutouts, 119 innings to be exact, Gary. Only 90 hits, and here's what impresses me from a 23-year-old. Only 23 walks.
So the Mets will look to get some dynamism into their lineup tonight. That was what Terry Collins felt about getting Eric Young in there. EY, since coming off the disabled list, has been swinging the bat well. 12 games since coming back from a hamstring injury, and he's hitting .293 in those 12 games. Only has had 1 at bat in this series. It'll be Young, then Lagares and Murphy for the Mets on a hot night in Atlanta. And Julio Teheran's first pitch is a fastball in for a strike, and we're underway. Teheran's not one of those guys who's going to light up the radar gun. His fastball average is a little over 90 miles an hour, but he throws 4-seamers, 2-seamers, and everything else in the pitcher's arsenal.
Little sinker baller, that's what he is right there. Got a nice breaking ball. I'm very anxious to see him. I mean, he's been up for a couple years, and let's see his progression now. The Braves held on to him.
First time the Mets have seen Teheran this season, and Young fouls one away. Right now, Teheran, who was leading the National League in ERA about 3 weeks ago, is 4th in the league. Johnny Cueto, the only National League starter under 2. He's had a phenomenal year, and there you see the rest. The Marlins have won the last 9 games that Henderson Alvarez has started. 0-2 to Eric Young leading off, and the breaking ball pulled down to first. Freddie Freeman handles it for the first out of the night. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Juan Lagares. Lagares a couple of hits last night. Still trying to find himself after coming back from 3 weeks on the disabled list with the intercostal injury. 6 games since his return, 5 hits and 20 at bats. Well, I don't think he's in the game right now, is he? It's a little early for Mr. Kimbrel. And by the way, Freddie Gonzalez said before the game today that since Kimbrel has worked the last 3 games, probably will not be available tonight. So if he has a save situation, he'll have to look elsewhere.
Well, he's got Jordan Walden out there.
And the Braves today also activated David Carpenter off the disabled list. He had been out for the last couple of weeks with a biceps issue.
And I was very impressed with the performance of Shea Simmons out of the bullpen. The Braves can find them, can't they?
Well, their bullpen was spectacular last night. 4 2/3, no runs, 1 hit. Slider misses outside. Lagares 2-1. Daniel Murphy waiting on deck. Murph just continues to hit and hit and hit.
I'm sorry, Gary. He actually had an off night last night. Even though he hit the 2-run home run, he only got 1 hit.
Lagares gets under 1 to left field. Easy play for Justin Upton. And he puts it away for the second out. So Tehran has set down the first two. And now it's Murphy, who, as Keith mentioned, hit one of the Mets' two-run homers last night. Curtis Granderson hit the other. But after Murphy's home run in the 5th inning, the Mets were poised to grab a lead. They had first and third and nobody out, could not convert, and then never got themselves another chance the rest of the night. The loss last night was the 20th one-run loss for the Mets this year. That's the most in the major leagues. They're 10-20 in one-run games. Murphy 3 for 8 in this series, now has 104 hits for the year, the most in the National League. Tehran gets ahead of him. This is the first time the Mets have faced Tehran this year, but it's his 4th career start against them for his career. Last year, his first full season in the major leagues, finished 5th in the Rookie of the Year balloting. In a star-studded year for rookies in the National League. It was 2 winters ago that the Braves had to make the decision between Randall Delgado and Julio Tehran when they made their big deal with Arizona to pick up Justin Upton, and it certainly appears as though they chose right about who to trade and who to keep. And that's instructive. You know, there's been so much conversation about the Mets and their surplus of young pitching talent, and would they try to turn some of that excess into a bat? Have to choose wisely.
What's out there? You know, it's not easy. You mentioned it yesterday, Gary. Being a general manager, today's game is not as easy. Well, it never was easy.
And Murphy takes it high, 3-1. Well, that's the trade that they made 2 winters ago, and it has turned out wonderfully for the Braves. Justin Upton has been a big part of their offense, and Chris Johnson, who was pretty much the throw-in, almost won himself a batting title last year.
Yes. It would be interesting to see if he can back that up.
And Murphy takes a borderline strike. And Sonia, the home plate umpire, 3-2.
Murph's not happy. And he has every right to be. I believe that ball's going to be outside. It's close. It nipped it. It's a pitcher's umpire right there. That's Dan Iasonia.
Tehran doesn't walk many. 3-2 to Murphy, and he lifts one foul.
He's got a.
There's your crew for tonight. Del Scott, the crew chief, working at third. Hal Gibson, who had the plate in game 1 of the series, the rookie, out at second base tonight with C.B. Buckner at first. Just getting started in Atlanta, where the Mets won 2 out of 3 their first trip here back in April, but trying to salvage the finale of this series after dropping the first 2. 3-2 from Tehran, and the breaking ball got him. 1-2-3 inning for Julio Tehran to start the night. Jacob deGrom heads to the mound for the bottom of the first when we come back. tonight, and not surprisingly for a team that's won 6 in a row and 8 of their last 9. No changes. Freddie Gonzalez will run the same 8 out there that he's had in the first 2 games of the series. Tommy La Stella got hit on the foot last night, had to come out, but he's right back in there tonight against Jacob deGrom.
Well, Jacob, as you remember, Met fans, he had his first 4 starts were outstanding, then kind of had a 3-start skid where he bottomed out at St. Louis, where he really got batted around. But he came back and picked up his first win in Miami, 7-inning shutout ball. A no decision in Pittsburgh.
B.J. Upton hits it toward the hole and through for a base hit. Well, Upton, who has been installed in the leadoff spot over the last week and a half, has now hit in 9 straight games since being placed there.
Well, I think he threw him a slider, and that's a big boo-boo because he's got a slider bat. There's a fastball away. Tejada got a very bad break on that.
Tejada was playing back on the outfield grass against the guy with the speed of B.J. Upton.
Gary, you see something new every day.
Sometimes 2 things.
It's a wonder.
Here's Andrelton Simmons, 3 for 9 in this series. Had a big 2-run single against Daisuke Matsuzaka last night. And Simmons takes ball 1. Maybe Tejada just wasn't ready for the game to start.
Look at Tejada's fall. What's he doing? Ruben, hello.
He had his back turned.
Oh my word!
That's a Starlin Castro play. I don't think we've seen that one before from Ruben. He'll pay attention now. Simmons takes a fastball for a strike, 1-1. He was looking out at Eric Young. I'm not sure exactly what he was doing, but deGrom threw the pitch and he wasn't ready.
There should be some internal policing going on that one.
Now, how would that work exactly when you say internal policing?
Someone that saw it, that's a veteran, chew him out.
Well, normally you've got your captain playing right next to Tejada, but he's not here. So
maybe no one saw it, period. But we've exposed it to the world, that's for sure.
Well, when the ball went through the infield with Tejada reacting late, I'm sure that
there's no excuse for that. Okay, it's just that simple.
Rob throwing hard in the early going, 96. 2 balls and a strike to Simmons with Freddie Freeman on deck. The Braves have been scoring runs in this series without benefit of the home run. 10 runs in the first 2 games, no home runs. That's a little bit different for an Atlanta team that's been very reliant on the home run ball this year and last. And deGrom gets a letter high strike, 2-2.
Another hot day here in Atlanta. Yeah, I've been here when it's been hotter.
Upton with 13 stolen bases, including 1 in this series. Another one taken away on a review when it was shown that his foot had come off the bag. Two and 2 to Andrelton Simmons. And deGrom busts him inside. Full count. Well, deGrom coming into the night had worked more innings and struck out more batters than any National League rookie.
Well, Simmons with only 30 strikeouts on the year, I got to believe you're going to have Upton on the move here.
And he is. And Simmons fouls it off.
I almost forgot, folks. My fault. This is the Met defense by Lexus. Lagares in center field. Eric Young back in the lineup in left field. Tejada at shortstop. Campbell, of course, at third with right out, and d'Arnaud behind the plate.
I missed something there. Why was that your fault?
Oh, I'm just having fun.
I see.
Trying to bring the fans into the broadcast.
Well, they're with you all the way, hanging on your every word. Upton was running on the first 3-2 pitch, and he's going again, and Simmons fouls off another fastball. So deGrom doing plenty of hard work here against Andrelton Simmons. Jacob in that last start in Pittsburgh left the game in a 2-2 tie. He had that one lapse in the 4th inning where, with a runner on base, a smash hit off Lucas Duda's body. DeGrom thought it had been caught, didn't cover first base. That set the inning in motion and wound up costing him the only 2 runs he would give up. Simmons bounces another one foul. And it was nice to hear Jacob's reaction after the game to that. He said, hey, I messed up. And you get the impression that he's not going to make that same mistake again.
Well, you hope not.
I mean, he pitched great in that game in Pittsburgh. And, you know, he was not covering first. He also didn't get a bunt down that might have helped him get a lead. Those are the little things that a pitcher can do to make sure that he gets wins. 9th pitch of the at-bat coming to Simmons. This time BJ doesn't run, and it's outside, ball 4. I guess BJ got tired.
That might be the answer.
But DeGrom allows the first 2 men to reach. And now Freddie Freeman comes up in an RBI situation.
Freddie had the real prolonged slump, I think, much like David Wright, the longest, although David Wright's been around a lot longer than Freddie Freeman. But the longest slump of his career. Did not have good numbers.
Well, he has found it now. Last 16 games, he's hitting .358. Bats here with 2 aboard and nobody out, and goes after the first pitch. Slider in on him, 0-1.
Good slider right here. Good slider. Nice and tight. Good location.
And DeGrom keeping it in on Freeman, a ball and a strike. Freeman 1 for 5 in the series, had an RBI double last night. Has driven in 3 runs in the first 2 games of the series. These Braves all facing DeGrom for the first time.
Well, they're just the book on him. They're going to pound him in. 3 straight sliders inside. Missed on the last 2.
B.J. Upton at second, Simmons at first. Justin Upton waiting on deck, and DeGrom with a mess to deal with in the opening inning. 2-1 to Freddie Freeman. And he goes low and away with the fastball, and now it's 3-1.
Well, it's a very dangerous pitch here.
DeGrom trying to avoid an early spiral. Could really use a ground ball from Freeman, who doesn't run very well. Instead, it's outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So back-to-back walks issued by DeGrom. And now the Braves poised here in the opening inning with the bases loaded, nobody out.
That's Freeman's 47th walk of the year, and I've seen Freddie enough now being in the division. He's not a guy with men on base, Gary, to get greedy and be selfish. He'll take a walk and further the rally. I've seen enough of him. He's done it enough. So he's unselfish in that regard.
Well, he has helped set the table for Justin Upton, who's 1 for 7 in this series. Upton tied for 5th in the National League with 16 home runs. He's driven in 46. So an early crisis moment for Jacob DeGrom. Bases loaded, nobody out. And Upton takes on the inside corner a fastball, 0-1.
And he needs a double play. Take a look at the defense. They're shading him in the outfield to the opposite field, at least the center field of Lagares. Very shallow and right is Granderson.
Remember, Lagares in Upton's last at bat last night went from that position deep left center to run down his fly ball. 0-2.
Upton, very strong, very long swing. Back-to-back fastballs in. That's where you got to pitch him and not down.
This is an Atlanta lineup that's loaded with strikeouts, and this is a spot where DeGrom could use one. Upton has already struck out 90 times this year. 7th in the league and 2nd among Uptons.
Yes, his brother has 100.
0-2 coming, and the breaking ball outside. 1-2. 26-year-old Jacob DeGrom just his 10th big league start. Jason Hayward waits on deck. Last two have been awfully good, but he is in a looming mess right here in the first inning. One-two to Justin Upton. And again, he goes to the slider and misses. 2-2.
He's having difficulty with that slider. He threw a very good one to Freeman, then missed. So now it's back-to-back missing here.
Now DeGrom about to throw his 20th pitch of this opening inning and still looking for his first out. Two. Up and in, and he gets him on strikes for the first out. That's a nice job by DeGrom to strike out Justin Upton. One away.
Well, that's where you got to pitch him. Upstairs and in. Just crowd him. All that muscle and brawn, and if you can't, it ties you up and in.
So 1 out, base is still loaded, and now Jason Hayward. Hayward 2 for 8 in this series. Eight home runs, 30 driven in for the Braves right fielder. Mets looking for a ground ball to work with, and the curveball fouled off. Nothing in one.
You can pitch Hayward down and in. He's got a sweeping swing and a down swing. Watch this. That's not a pretty swing.
Oh, 1. Another slider misses. Ball and a strike. Chris Johnson waits on deck. Hayward 8 for 11 this year, getting a runner in from third with less than 2 out. Darno sets up outside, and DeGrom hits the target but misses. 2 balls and a strike.
Hayward in his stance, Gary, looks very rigid and almost as if he's gripping the bat too tight. Looks like he's just too tight.
Now it's even on Hayward. Well, DeGrom's thrown 24 pitches in this inning, 12 balls, 12 strikes. The Braves have been very patient with him. A.J. Upton got a base hit on the first pitch that DeGrom threw, but every hitter since has seen at least 5 pitches, making DeGrom have to sweat on a hot night. Bases loaded, 1 out, 2-2 to Hayward. And the breaking ball fouled off.
That's all he can do with that slider down and in is top it like that. Just can't get there. He might get him to chase one up and away out of the strike zone after all these sliders in.
On 2-2, Hayward gets one in the air, not very deep and right. Upton will tag at third as Granderson comes in. Upton is not going to try it, and Granderson throws it on one hop to the plate. And that's the second out. So DeGrom 2/3 of the way home.
Nice changeup that got Hayward out in trouble out in front. After all those sliders in, not hit deep enough. Granderson does not have a strong throwing arm, but he made a perfect throw right there. Nice change, didn't get it away just enough to get him out in front.
So now DeGrom with a chance to get through the inning, but he's got to get through Chris Johnson. Johnson 1 for 7 in this series, hitting at .282.
One of the more peculiar swingers in the game, but he has success with it.
Darno sets up inside, and Johnson fouls it off. Ball and a strike. You see the vagaries of hitting with runners in scoring position for Chris Johnson. Great last year, not so great this year. Just 24 RBIs through more than half a season.
I just don't see how he can have any consistency over the years with that swing he's got. He's got a lot of holes.
Chops one foul, 1-2.
Sometimes you have a year where everything falls right for you, and I'm not by any stretch of the imagination putting Johnson down, just saying that I just don't know how he hits with that stance, the way he holds his hands and his swing.
Well, DeGrom about to throw his 30th pitch of the inning, and on the verge of getting himself out of a huge jam. 1-2. Just off the corner with the slider. 2-2.
Nice try. Didn't miss by much. Let's see. The outside. Good call. Good eye.
Two coming. Another breaking ball. And Johnson stays in the at bat. The Braves as a team with 2 outs and runners in scoring position are hitting 184. Mets know what that's like. They're at 190. But Atlanta's been hot, and during this hot streak, all of a sudden they've found their way with 2 outs. They scored all 5 of their runs with 2 outs last night against Ice King. 2-2 from DeGrom, and Johnson fouls it off.
See, that's basically all he can do with his swing, with that, much like Hayward with the slider from DeGrom down and in, getting under it and hitting it almost to the on-deck circle on the first base side. It's the same thing holds true for that sinker running in on, down and in on Johnson.
Seventh pitch of the at bat coming to Chris Johnson with the bases full. Hit hard, and Campbell can't flag it down. Upton will score. Simmons scores. Freeman racing for third. He's being waved home. The relay thrown to the plate by Tejada. Not in time. A 3-run double for Chris Johnson. And the Braves jump out to the early 3-0 lead.
Well, big boo-boo right here. Tough chance for Campbell. Bullet in between Hop, but a fastball right down the pipe.
So DeGrom, who was right on the edge of getting out of a huge jam, bases loaded, nobody out, struck out Upton, got Hayward on the short fly ball, but Johnson clears the bases with a 2-base hit. And boy, have the Mets missed the Gold Glove caliber defense of David Wright on this road trip.
They have.
And that's no knock on Eric Campbell. Eric's a young player. He's not necessarily a third baseman by trade, but there have been several plays in this series that David generally puts to bed.
Well, you never know if David makes that play, because I'm sure if David's watching, he would probably say the same thing. It was a hot shot. In between Hop, you just got to anticipate where it's going to go. We've seen David make those plays, that's for sure.
So 3 runs are in. And now DeGrom will try and stop the bleeding against the rookie second baseman Tommy La Stella. La Stella 1 for 4 in this series. And takes just inside. La Stella last night got hit on the right foot by Daisuke Matsuzaka's pitch in the second inning. Stayed in the game, but left later on when it started to swell up. But right back in the lineup again tonight.
Well, it's too bad he couldn't get that third out. Made a 1 bad pitch. I wouldn't mind seeing that pitch, guys, if we get time from the center field camera. I want to see the location of that 2-strike double.
Stella fouls it off, and it's 1-2.
We'll take a look at where the pitch was. 2-2 count. Yeah, but he didn't get it in. I think Darno is set up away, and you could see him bring his glove back. It was too much, right down the middle. Mistake.
Johnson cashed it in. His 17th double. Now it's 1-2 to La Stella. And he goes down on strikes to end the inning. Second strikeout for DeGrom, but a damaging one for the rookie right-hander. 3 Atlanta runs put the Mets in an early hole. This Friday with a post-game fireworks show presented by Citi following the Mets game against the Texas Rangers at 7:10 p.m. For tickets, visit Mets.com/fireworks. Now Julio Teheran now stake to a 3-0 lead. Curtis Granderson will lead off for the Mets in the second. Granderson, who's been leading off the last couple of days in the cleanup spot tonight. Granderson hit a home run out of the leadoff spot each of the first 2 games of this series. 4 for 9 with those 2 home runs. And Curtis takes a strike. Granderson, Campbell, and Duda for the Mets in the second.
Pounds the strike zone, does he not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why he averages 1.7 walks per 9 innings.
He likes to pitch away to lefties.
Braves had a pitcher a few years ago who had some success for a couple of years in Jair Jurgens, who, like Teheran, didn't throw much more than 90 miles an hour, but for a while was very effective. And it looks like Jurgens is going to be back in the big leagues. He'd fallen off the map,
right?
But he just got traded to Colorado, and the Rockies are in desperate need of pitching help.
Well, he went to Toronto, did he not?
He's been bounced around a couple of times.
Yeah, and he was really he got in the doghouse, Bobby Cox's doghouse. 2 guys got in Bobby Cox's doghouse. The shortstop too.
Escobar.
Escobar got in.
He went to Toronto. I think Jurgens went to Baltimore.
That's right.
Anyway, it looks like Jurgens might be back. And now here's Teheran, another guy who, is not dominant with his fastball. Curveball popped up. And Justin Upton comes in. And that's the first out.
He's got an interesting arm action on his take back. Pretty straight up. Tucks it in. He doesn't classically come down with his arm. He kind of shoves it back towards second base. That was a changeup he threw right there. You can see his finger up. So a lot of times those funky motions can let you get away.
Eric Campbell tries to hold the swing, and he went around.
That's his hardest ball he's thrown right there, 90 miles an hour up in the strike zone. And he swung. I'd have to say the umpire was right there.
Campbell has continued to hit, 3 for 8 in this series, and takes up and in. Ball and a strike. Campbell now 87 at bats deep into his major league career, hitting .322. Not many walks. He's only walked 4 times, so his on base percentage at .351. Lucas Duda waits on deck. And that's in at the knees for a strike. Changeup.
He's starting to bring out the changeup and showing another weapon in his arsenal. It's a pretty doggone good one. Oh.
Well, it is the home of the Braves.
I thought 8-year-olds wore those things.
Curveball sits high, 2-2.
Those are those cheap Chief hats you bought at the 5 and Dime store when I was a kid. You used to get crayons and put them on your face.
That kind of thing is discouraged these days. Everywhere except it seems in this ballpark. Get the other way, a foul ball.
Or go down and watch a Florida State game.
Well, that's where it came from. You know, the whole tomahawk chop thing was brought to Atlanta by Deion Sanders, who was a proud Seminole, and then encouraged the Atlanta fans to follow suit.
Every football game, they got that Seminole come out with a spear and throws it down in the 50-yard line.
2-2 to Campbell. Takes one the other way, and Hayward comes on. 2 out. So Tehran has set down the first 5. 2 out and nobody on. Now Lucas Duda. Duda 1 for 7 in this series. He's had some past success against Tehran. 3 for 7 with a home run. And Duda pops up the first pitch he sees. Chris Johnson waiting for it to come down. And Tehran sets the Mets down 1-2-3 in the second. 3-0 Atlanta. When the Mets take on the Texas Rangers at 7:15, the first 20,000 fans will receive a Mets floppy hat courtesy of Citi. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. There's the floppy hat. You see the.
Yes. Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called. Ruben Tejada, aware of the first pitch of the inning this time, throws out Christian Betancourt, and that's how the bottom of the second begins. The first pitch that Jacob deGrom threw, Ruben Tejada had his back turned, and B.J. Upton hit one through the hole for a base hit that started a 3-run inning.
It certainly did.
Julio Teheran, 4 for 39 at the plate this year, a 167 lifetime hitter. Looking to bring Campbell in from third, which he did. Al Leiter played for the Mets. He was a terrible hitter, but he developed this timing mechanism where he'd show bunt on every pitch and then pull the bat back. Raised his batting average, I don't know, from 070 to 080.
Al would try anything.
Just say that Al did not hide his emotions on the field very well. And Teheran solidly cracks his 5th hit of the year. And the 3rd hit of the night off Jacob deGrom.
Fastball up. Inner half. Nice swing. A little inside out. Not really. He just hit that ball where it was pitched.
So a 1-out base runner, and now to the top of the order for B.J. Upton, who had that base hit his first time up to stretch his hitting streak to 9 games. Dude is going to play behind Teheran running at first. And B.J. trying to bunt for a hit, but deGrom right on it. And throws him out easily for the 2nd out. Now, that is a situation where there should be no sacrifice. It's 1 out, a position player at the plate. You're not looking to bunt to sacrifice, but the official scorer will give him credit for it.
I'm putting 1 to 3 on it.
So you're not going to give him a sacrifice on your scorecard?
That's exactly right.
But officially, he will not get charged with a time at bat. It's a terrible rule. They should change it. I mean, everybody who watches baseball understands that that's not a sacrifice.
Right.
And Freddie Gonzalez probably not very happy about it either. Here's Andrelton Simmons. I mean, with 1 out, the only person who's looking to sacrifice is the pitcher. Nobody else on the team is sacrificing.
Right.
And even though the baseball scoring rules say that you're supposed to give the hitter the benefit of the doubt, a cursory knowledge of the game should indicate that that should not be a sacrifice. And you might say, well, who cares? But you know what? There's so much scrutiny given to statistics these days. All those things matter.
It's not who cares. People that say who cares don't understand the game. Stats have been around forever. There's more than you can shake a stick at now, but these are basic.
But now players are being judged on statistics more than ever, and being paid on statistics more than ever. 2-0 to Andrelton Simmons, who walked and scored his first time up. And that's it to the right side. Murphy sidles over and makes the play on Simmons to end the inning. A hit and 1 left. We go to the 3rd in Atlanta with the Braves up 3-0. weighs in on Geno Smith and the quarterback competition, plus get an in-depth preview of camp. That's training camp, not OTAs, not mini camp, actual camp. Just trying to make it clear. On Jets Nation Sunday at 7, only on SNY. I mean, those football guys, they have camp all the time. Here's Anderson Simmons on that last ground
Well, we
ball.
mentioned how he didn't run it out to you, Gary, and that's certainly not even that's second gear. That's kind of unacceptable, I think.
But you understand it sometimes on a ball hit right at an infielder. That one wasn't. I mean, Murphy, who's certainly not a Gold Glover at second base, had to move for that ball.
Well, you hit a ball hard halfway, and the guy makes you bust out of the box, and you get halfway down the line. You see that he's going to make the play, and the throw's going to be on line, and you can kind of gear it back a little bit. But that wasn't even a half an effort right there. Very surprising from a young player.
So we talked about it before with Tejada's gaffe. How does that kind of thing get handled? Is that a manager thing?
It's a manager thing, or if you have a Pete Rose type player, Jeter, that runs everything out and sets the example, and is also the take charge guy in that team that has the stripes to do it, then it can be handled by the player. But Bobby Cox would take no truck with that. I'll tell you that. And he benched Andrew Jones early in his career, if you recall.
Yes, he did. Travis d'Arnaud pops one up. Freddie Freeman should have plenty of room. And Julio Teheran's retired the first 7 Mets. Well, this is also this Braves team has had a big turnover, not only in terms of Bobby Cox retiring, but Chipper Jones was that guy for this team for so long.
And Chipper, at the end of his career, lost his. He never was a speedster, but he ran above average. But when he was older, he lost a lot of his speed.
There's Ruben Tejada, who's riding a 10-game hitting streak right now. Tejada hit second in the order each of the last 2 nights, back in the 8-hole tonight. Would it surprise you if I told you that among the 8 starting players for the Mets tonight, Ruben Tejada has the highest on-base percentage for the season?
It wouldn't surprise me, Gary, because you mentioned it last night. And I listened to everything you say.
He was second going into last night, but he passed by Murphy last night. I mean, you look at Daniel Murphy and the season he's having, he leads the league in hits, but Ruben Tejada has a higher on-base percentage than Murphy does.
Yeah, Ruben was on base 2 times last night.
355 his on-base percentage starting the evening. Murphy 352.
Well, that's why they moved him up into the 2-hole, even though he's down today.
Curveball popped up. Simmons going out to call, and he makes the catch. 2 out. So Teheran making it look easy early in this game. 8 up and 8 cast aside, and it'll bring up Jacob deGrom. DeGrom 5 hits and 17 at bats, but pitchers have gotten wise to him, and he has slowed down significantly after his rollicking offensive start. Yeah, went fouled off Betancourt's mask.
Betancourt's had a tough time in his 3-game series. It's been like a backstop back there.
Glancing blow.
DeGrom's got an idea up there with his swing.
Easy play for Freeman. And that retires the side. So Julio Teheran's gone perfectly through the first 3 innings. 3-0 Atlanta. By Verizon Fios, introducing Verizon Fios Quantum TV, redefining what TV can be. That's powerful. Part of the Braves Hall of Fame here at Turner Field. See Dale Murphy in the foreground, Bob Horner in the background. People forget about Horner. What a great power hitter he was.
Arizona State.
Came right to the big leagues, never played in the minors.
Yes, he was a very, very clutch hitter.
During tonight's game, you can get interactive with SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, featuring pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Part of the batting order up for the Braves in the third: Freddie Freeman, Justin Upton, and Jason Hayward. Atlanta got 3 in the first on a bases-loaded 2-out double by Chris Johnson. Freeman walked in that first inning and takes the curveball outside from DeGrom. Freeman takes the fastball for a strike, 2-1. Justin Upton waits on deck.
Little down slider here. Out of the strike zone, got Freeman fishing.
2-2. And he golfs one foul. Another one he hit almost off the ground.
He's got a hockey swing. It's a low ball swing. I'd like to see Tom Seaver, the way Tom used to be able to pitch up and in to both lefties and righties. I'd like to see Tom get that knee dirty and pound him up and in and see if he could handle it. I think he can't. I think that's where you got to pitch him.
3-2. And he got him. So DeGrom goes back to the slider and strikes out Freeman, his third strikeout of the night.
Another down slider that got it. Oh, that was a changeup. Got him chasing, folding.
So 1 out in the home third, and now Justin Upton has struck out his first time up.
DeGrom struck out Upton with the bases loaded the first inning with nobody out. Up and in fastball. Perfect pitch. And that's where you have to pitch this guy. Crowd him. Everybody swings for the downs. And wanted to hit that one in the next county.
Well, as a consequence, Upton has been so hot and cold since joining the Braves. He had a tremendous hot streak early last year that got the Braves off to the fast start. But he struggles mightily for long periods of time.
And water sinks its level.
Well, I've always felt as though Justin should be better. I mean, he was the #1 pick in the draft for a reason, and it looked when he first started out with Arizona as though he was going to be one of the best players in the league.
Well, you keep on swinging from your tail, Gary, and it's not going to happen over a course of 162. He wound up hitting 260 last year, 263, Gary, after that hot start.
How many home runs did he wind up?
He hit 27 home runs and only 70 RBIs.
He had 11 in April, right?
Yes, but still, 27 home runs and only 70 ribeye steaks. That's not productive.
Actually had 12 in April last year and then 15 the rest of the way. Slider gets him. Back-to-back strikeouts for DeGrom. Second time he's gotten Upton.
Target upstairs. It's a fastball, Gary, and he chased it away. They wanted it up and in. And that's just not a good swing. Completely fooled.
So that DeGrom has struck out the first two here in the third. And now Jason Hayward. He flied to right his first time up. DeGrom having trouble throwing that first pitch strike tonight. Walked back-to-back hitters in the first inning that put him in trouble.
Again, a slider down.
And Hayward takes inside. 2 balls and a strike. Chopper. Tejada rushing in. Safe. Infield hit for Jason Hayward.
Well, Hayward can run. Boy, does speed help. Helps that batting average. Keeps that offer away. Tejada does all he can do. On the run throw, he just beats it. Baltimore chop. And he's safe.
So that's the 4th hit against Jacob deGrom. Hayward at first with 2 out. Chris Johnson, the batter. Johnson hit a smash that got past Campbell for a 3-run double his first time up. And another first pitch ball.
We'll take a look at the swing here, and it's another pitch down, and he's fooled completely. Had to reach for it.
This is deGrom's 15th batter. He's thrown first pitch strikes to only 6 of the 15.
Nice slider. He wishes he had that one the last at bat with 2-2 count. It's a terrific spot right there.
Hayward at first, 9 stolen bases in 12 tries. Braves were in a running mode last night. They stole 3 bases by 3 different players. Two and 2 to Johnson.
Well, I'm going to try to analyze this swing, folks, and this is very difficult. It's a very peculiar swing. He just sweeps. He drops the back shoulder. He has a very awkward follow through. He has a banana on his body's banana arced when he follows through, like the left-hand golfer that won the Masters twice. What's his name? Can't think of his name. Just recently, too. Bubba Watson. He has the banana. They call the banana swing. That's how he follows through. Look at he has a very much like Bubba Watson for all you golfers. Look at the banana on the follow through. So I couldn't figure this one out if I tried, and I certainly wouldn't teach it.
He's had some success with it, though.
Absolutely. Different strokes for different folks.
Hit sharply, a base hit into left field. So back-to-back 2-out hits for the Braves, and Johnson is 2 for 2. Banana stroke and all.
Yep, you got it. So here he is, 2 for 2. Whatever works for you. It's a guy that was right up to the end in line for fighting for a batting title.
you started talking about the banana, I got caught thinking about Simon Says. Take 2 banana steps. Well, didn't say Simon Says.
Simon Says. I didn't take 2 bananas. You got to say Simon Says.
Here's Tommy La Stella. 2 out and 2 on. La Stella struck out his first time up. DeGrom about to throw his 70th pitch, coming with 2 out in the 3rd inning. Hayward at second, Johnson at first, and 2 out. A couple of curveballs to La Stella, a ball and a strike. Jacobs reaching for the kitchen sink tonight because it's just not working for him. As Mr. Met smiles off his sleeve.
Did you notice on the uniform?
La Stella gets a hold of one, deep right field. Granderson back to left row. And that retires the side.
Did you notice everything's gray on the Met uniform? So Mr. Met is white. Why is that?
I'll have to think about that.
It's 3-0, and with Evan Gattis on the DL now, we've been talking a lot about the Braves' young catcher Christian Bethancourt, who's here and getting a taste in the major leagues. And you know, Gary, you've talked a lot about his arm. We haven't seen it too much, but this guy can flat out throw. We know that. And he was telling me today about how he got his start as a catcher in Panama. He was playing baseball when he was a young kid, like so many kids down there. And he said he's about 5 or 6 years old. And what would happen is every position his coach would put him at in Little League, he would not trust anyone else. So say, for example, he was playing third base, he would just run over to first to catch the ball because he thought his first baseman would drop the ball. Put him at shortstop, he'd run to right field, try to make a catch. Now, 5, 6 years old, some kids will do that. So finally, his coach at the time said to his mother, listen, we're going to put him behind the plate, make him catch. If he leaves, we're not going to be able to play the game. So he's got to stay back there and catch the ball. And ever since then, he caught. He said when he got a little older, as young, we'll get on here, and that'll test maybe the arm of Bethancourt, so we'll check it out. But he said when I got older, when I was 10, 11 years old, I would never even stand up to throw runners out. I would throw from my knees all the time. I saw older guys do it. I tried to emulate it. Maybe we'll get a chance to see it right here. Gary, Keith?
Well, the test may be approaching with Eric Young aboard, the first Met base runner of the night after Julio Teheran had retired 9 in a row. Juan Lagares the batter. EY with 21 steals this year, 4th in the National League despite time on the DL and limited playing time of late. And he takes off early, got a great jump, and Betancourt has no chance. Well, that was nothing Betancourt could do, but he's got a rifle for an arm. You can see that.
And as Kevin said earlier, throw it from his knees, but no one was going to throw out Young.
No. EY took off early, picks up his 22nd stolen base. So the Mets have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Lagares flied to left his first time up. And tries to drop a bunt. It's picked out of the air by Tehran. And good base running by EY to get back.
Good athleticism from Tehran. Off the mound like a cat. Watch him. For a big, tall, lanky kid. Well done.
So one away. Now Daniel Murphy, who struck out his first time up, with Young still at second. You know, Tehran's off to a terrific start tonight. He hasn't walked a batter. He struck out only one in the early going and allowed only the one hit. And it harkens back a little bit to the game that Rick Porcello pitched yesterday for the Tigers, when he pitched a complete game shutout, didn't walk a batter, didn't strike out a batter. And I did not know exactly how rare that was till I started reading about it today. The last pitcher to throw a complete game shutout without a walk or a strikeout, you got to go back to 1989, Jeff Ballard for the Orioles. And the last Tigers pitcher to do it was Dizzy Trout in 1944.
Wow.
So it had been a while. And it's striking because, you know, in this day and age where strikeouts are so prevalent, and while nobody seems to care about the fact that hitters are striking out more than ever, pitchers are being judged on strikeouts. I mean, here's a kid who was able to fashion a complete game shutout, getting predominantly ground balls, and didn't have to strike out anybody. Took him only 95 pitches to throw 9 innings. That's a consequence. 3-0 to Murphy with Granderson on deck. And that's ball 4, so a rare walk for Tehran. And the Mets get 2 men on. So 2 aboard for Granderson, who flied to left his first time up. I mean, when you played, the pitchers were a much more diverse bunch in that you had your strikeout pitchers, but you also had your Randy Joneses, the guys who relied on
Rick
contact.
Rushells,
right?
Guys that want you to make contact and made pitches with movement to hit the ball on the ground, preferably.
So I guess the question is, in an era where power pitching is predominating, and there's no question that that's what everybody's looking for. They're looking for the big strikeout pitchers. Is there still room for pitchers who make their living in different ways?
That depends on who the general manager is and what he desires. And I'm sure the general manager is always going to have people that think the same way as him. They got to be on the same page organizationally, what they're looking for in talent. Maybe it's too compartmentalized, Gary.
What do you mean?
Too much looking for one thing. I think you got guys. And you think Fernando Valenzuela today would not be effective? I think he would be. You don't think Rick Russell today wouldn't be effective? I would strongly disagree. Tug McGraw didn't throw hard.
Pickoff try. Young wasn't that far off the bag. As an offensive player, would you rather face a strikeout pitcher or a hard thrower?
It depends. It depends on what the strikeout. There's strikeout pitchers that I hit well, Gary, and there was non-strikeout pitchers that got me out.
That one kicks away, and that'll move the runners to second and third. So a wild pitch thrown by Tehran, his first of the season.
Tough one for. Oh, got into the wickets.
That came off the umpire, didn't it?
It sure did. That ball was, geez, bounced around 5 feet in front of home plate.
Went off the inside of the shin guard of Betancourt. That's where it went. So now 2 in scoring position. And a chance for Granderson. The infield will sit back, with the Braves sporting a 3-run lead.
You know, sometimes you got runners in first and second, Gary, and you got a ground ball pitcher come in, and Roger McDowell would be a classic example.
Granderson lifts one, left center, tagging at third, EY. Justin Upton comes in to grab it. EY's going to come home, and the throw goes to third. So a sacrifice fly for Curtis Granderson brings in the Mets' first run of the night. 39th RBI for Granderson, and now it's 3-1 Atlanta.
Ball up in the strike zone, just enough out there. Upton does a really good job of getting momentum coming forward, but he catches the ball one-handed. He had no intention of going home, so we got to just get away from that one, and that was the right thing to do. But you know, today you got Seth Maness with the Cardinals, who's a sinker ball pitcher. What's he there for? To get a ground ball.
Here's Eric Campbell. Well, you know, a lot of it comes down to what teams feel they can control. And when they look at pitchers, they look toward more sabermetrically inclined stats: walks, strikeouts, home runs, plays where the ball's not in play and you don't rely on your fielders.
Okay.
Well, but I'm saying that's what tends to be valued now. And pitchers who allow the ball to be put in play tend to be devalued because they figure ball can be put in play, bad things happen. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that that's how pitchers tend to get evaluated these days.
We've had this conversation many times, Gary, both on camera and off.
Oh, 2 to Campbell. And he slashes one foul. And you know, you look at a kid like Porcello, who's 25 years old. He's been around forever. Came up when he was 20.
Right.
And he's having a terrific year, his best by far. And I wonder when teams look at him, do they look at him as positively as his numbers would reflect?
He's going to go to an All-Star game this year.
I would think he would.
Has he got 11 or 12 wins?
11. He's 11 and 4 now. I just find it so fascinating because, you know, we're kind of in a time warp in baseball right now, where you've got different people looking at a lot of different things. Tehran took that ball solidly off his leg, and it's a base hit for Campbell. And we'll see whether Tehran is okay. The trainer's going to come out immediately to see if he's all right. He looked like he was stunned by this one.
Yes, he looked like he got hurt. Watch his reaction. Oh, it's off the side of his calf. So I think he's going to be okay. You know, if you get it off the ankle or directly off your shin, that hurts. I think he'll be fine.
So it's a base hit for Campbell. Mets have the tying runs on base, and now the question is whether Senor Tehran.
You know, I had conversations with Piazza, Mike, about the relievers that came in during the steroid era. Remember, everybody thought it was just the hitters that were doing steroids, and it took a while for people to catch on that the pitchers were doing it too. And not only were the hitters hitting it further, but the pitchers were throwing it harder. And Mike told me that it really had to bear down all the time. I tell you what, I faced Nolan Ryan, certainly threw 100 miles an hour. Don Gullett, Bedrosian out of the bullpen through high 90s. I'll take a fastball any day of the week.
Well, Tehran apparently okay. And now Lucas Duda will step in with first, third, and 2 out. So Tehran, who went perfectly through the Mets the first time through the batting order, has given up 2 hits and a walk here in the 4th. Murphy at third, Campbell at first with 2 down. Duda popped up to the third baseman his first time up. That's with 1 run and 2 hits. The Braves 3 runs and 5 hits as we play in the 4th.
Oh, that was exciting.
Strike up the band.
I jumped out of my chair.
Very happy that the band dropped in to play us a few notes. And Duda takes a strike. It's 1-1.
That's the most excitement we've seen in 3 days.
Oh, there we go again. They're back. So this time you reacted much more positively. Keith was dancing when he heard the tune. His favorite song. Tehran maybe slowing down the pace a little bit after taking that shot off his leg.
Throw the ball.
He's ahead on Duda 1-2. And Lucas fouls one away. 93 from Tehran. That's the hardest pitch he's thrown all night. Travis d'Arnaud waits on deck. Murphy at third. He walked. Campbell at first. He hit that shot off Tehran for an infield hit. And Duda lifts one to right. Jason Hayward in. Cue the music. Something very relaxing about that.
Oh, Pooch.
Puppy.
Maybe. cute. Got to wear that hat properly, though.
Christian Betancourt leads off against Jacob deGrom, who throws another first pitch ball, and that's been the story for deGrom tonight. Been behind virtually every hitter he's faced. That's why he's had to throw 71 pitches over the first 3 innings. 8 of 17 first pitch strikes for deGrom tonight. It's the curveball over for a strike, 1-1. Pitcher Tehran is on deck. Then B.J. Upton for the Braves in the 4th after the Mets got a run back in the top of the inning. deGrom going to the curveball the second time through the batting order.
Well, he's settled in. It's doing a good job. This is the things you look for in young pitchers. You know, rough inning, first inning, 3 runs. How do they respond?
And I think that's something we've seen from deGrom over his brief career. Blows away Betancourt. 5 strikeouts for deGrom, 1 down in the 4th.
Just a fastball away. They wanted it in. He missed on the opposite side of the plate.
So 1 out. Here's Tehran, who hit a hard single to center field his first time up. The Braves, during the last offseason and really into this season, have made a point of tying up a lot of their younger players.
They sure have.
And Tehran was one of those. A guy with a little over a year of big league time coming into this season, and they gave him 6 years, $32 million, buying out all of his arbitration and 1 year of his free agency.
They tied up the whole left side of their infield with long-term contracts, and Simmons at short and Johnson at third. Freeman's tied up. They got 1 more year of Ugla at $13 million. They're going to the ground ball right to Lucas. Easy play.
They gave Kimbrel a long-term deal also.
Yes. The 2 outfield, the 2 Upton brothers are going to be here for a while. They got long-term contracts. And Hayward they tied up. So they're moving to that new stadium in 2017. It's up in Cobb County. It was a very interesting conversation that we had with the taxi driver going in today. You were not in the cab. I was with Bill Webb and our trainer, our producer. It's far from our trainer.
You're gonna pay for that, you know.
Greg Picker.
Yeah.
The cab driver was upset. He said because they're going to lose all the business because they can't go across the county line. They can take people to the stadium,
right,
but he can't take fares.
Can't take them back.
Right. So the cab drivers in Atlanta, cab drivers are up in arms about it.
Nobody ever considers the cab drivers.
I know, well, I just a little tidbit.
B.J. Upton has a base hit and a sacrifice tonight. And he gulps 1 foul, 2-1. Well, I'm always partial toward ballparks in the city as opposed to ballparks out in the middle of nowhere, which is where the new one's going to be.
You know, this downtown area of Atlanta back in the mid-'70s when I came up was really a quaint little downtown, and Atlanta got so big it lost some of its charm. I think it lost its charm. I mean, I like it. I love Atlanta, don't get me wrong, but it was a charming southern city in the 70s, and now it's just it's a bustling metropolis.
Well, it's also, I mean, it's about the greatest example of suburban sprawl in this country. Yep. Terrible traffic in this town.
It's the worst cab ride to the ballpark from the hotel in the National League.
Upton fouls one off.
L.A. would rank too, but that's because we don't stay downtown.
Right.
LA.
Well, I mean, in both cases, you could stay at a hotel 5 minutes from the ballpark here and at Dodger Stadium, but for some reason, we don't. Not your call.
No,
not mine.
No.
Here's the 3-2 coming. And Upton down on strikes, so deGrom comes back from 2-0 to strike out B.J. Upton. 6 strikeouts in 4 innings for deGrom, but the Mets down 3-1 after 4. A new ballpark in suburban Cobb County in 2017. These are some of the renderings. Presumably, when they actually build the ballpark, the seats won't be yellow. If they are, they'll get somebody killed. Remember Olympic Stadium with the yellow seats?
Yeah, I do.
So
it looks beautiful. I'm sure it's going to be nice. Looks like they're going to have another baseball village there.
Going to have a mall attached and some hotels, and that's the plan anyway.
So, very much. What did you feel about the in St. Louis when you went there? I didn't go on that trip.
I was not there yet.
Oh, you missed it too.
Right.
Okay, because they got that baseball village there.
Last time I was there, it was a hole in the ground.
More ways to burn a hole in your back pocket.
Lower third of the order up for the Mets in the 5th inning. Travis d'Arnaud fouled out to first base, his first at bat. d'Arnaud, Tejada, and DeGrom against Julio Teheran, who gave up a run in the 4th after going perfectly through the first 3. And a curveball for a strike. d'Arnaud, 7 games since his return from the minor leagues. Before tonight, he's hit in all 7. Hitting .333 over the 7 games. And he reaches for one and hooks it out to left. And on comes Justin Upton to get it, 1 away. So 1 out, nobody on. Ruben Tejada coming up, and we check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
You know, sometimes baseball is a game of perseverance. We all know that. And, you know, a guy like Kirk Neuenhuis comes to mind. Think about it. This is a guy that, you know, was the guy. We saw him before Juan Lagares, before Matt Dendecker. We saw him play center field. We saw spurts of what he could do. But he's shuffled back and forth between the major leagues and AAA enough. And I caught up with him and asked him about just doing that, persevering, you know, finding your way in this league and finding a way to stay here long enough to have a long career. And he said, you know, I look at it like this. You know, there are the big bucks in our game, and I'm talking the guys with the big antlers, the big moose like Bartolo Colon, Bobby Abreu. He said, you know, every year they have to kind of spar with the young guys to prove that they belong, and they keep doing it. If I could ever get to that point, that would be incredible. And he said last year with the pinch hitting thing, he said, I think the one thing I tried to learn and getting used to that role and just finding a way to be versatile is you just can't take every at bat too literally, because otherwise forget it. He said you have to just trust your ability. You get to the point where you're looking at video, you're trying to overanalyze what happened in one singular at bat, to simply go up there and trust the ability. This year what he's done is something a little different that he thinks has helped him, especially in the games he's not starting. He'll go back and put the pitching machine on high. I don't know what the velocity is, but he speeds up the normal velocity. So, you know, sometimes batting practice, it's a little bit unreal. So I put it pretty close. I turn up the velocity and I take some swings. I think A, it gets me warm quicker, and B, I think in some way it helps me shorten my swing because you have to. Otherwise, you're not going to make contact with that. So those couple drills have helped him as Kirk Neuenhuis tries to persevere and carve out a nice little career for himself. Maybe we'll see him later today. Gary?
Well, I've never been a proponent of the thing with the the batting practice pitchers in front of the mound too close to a hitter, or in BP having someone throw hard where you can't relax. Now, different strokes for different folks. He's pinch hitting now, different ways to get ready for a pinch hit. It's one at bat, but to me, hitting's all rhythm. And I've said it on the air before, we've talked about it, that I want to relax in BP where I can play the ball. I'll start out in left center field and work it over to right field and be relaxed. And I don't want to dial it up until the game starts. That's when I'll dial it up. But, you know, whatever. I think hitters today are taught differently. They do things differently, and that's the way they've been doing it their whole life, so that works for them.
Well, and I think it's also different when you're coming off the bench and getting 3 at-bats a week as opposed to playing every day. And for a young player like Neuenhuis, making the adjustment to that role has got to be especially difficult as Tejada goes down to the high hard one. Second strikeout of the night for Teheran.
High hard one is right. Up the ladder. And Ruben's got to learn to lay off that pitch. Not so easily done.
They got a little taste of Teheran tonight and why he's been so good. Guy with 4 pitches, able to use them all effectively. 2 out, and DeGrom the batter. Now Julio Teheran, 4th in the National League in ERA when the night began. And as good as that ERA is, 2.34, his ERA at home even more minuscule.
Yes.
1.22. DeGrom lifts one to shallow left. Lazy fly for Justin Upton, and a very easy inning for Julio Teheran. Mets are down 1-2-3. We're halfway through in Atlanta. 3-1 Braves. Right, they get the injury-riddled Texas Rangers over the weekend, and then the Braves are in for 4 games next week before the Marlins come in toward the weekend, right before the All-Star break. Here are city probables for the series of the Rangers. The Rangers made some adjustments because they designated Joe Saunders for assignment, so Nick Tepish got pushed back to Friday. He's been, other than Darvish, their best starter. He'll go against John Neese, Colby Lewis, and Bartolo Colon Saturday, and Fordham University's Nick Martinez goes against the Mets, and Zach Wheeler on Sunday. Home 5th inning in Atlanta. Andrelton Simmons will lead off for the Braves. Jacob deGrom has settled in after a very difficult first inning. Gave up a hit and 2 walks to start matters tonight, and was almost through the inning. Gave up a 3-run double to Chris Johnson, but he's given up very little since. And the first pitch curveball in for a strike to Simmons, who's walked and grounded out tonight 0 for 1. Because of that first inning, which cost him 37 pitches, this might be the last go-round for deGrom. Ball to strike to Simmons with Freeman and Justin Upton to follow. The Braves starting the night a half game in front of the Nats in the National League East. Washington just went in front of Colorado 4-3. That game is now in the bottom of the 7th. And Simmons bluffing in the bunt. Takes a strike. Rob has struck out 6 tonight. Chopper toward the hole. Tejada on the backhand. Tough play. Off the bag duty, but Simmons beats it out. That'll be an infield hit for Andrelton Simmons.
Yes, you're not going to throw out Simmons there. Nice try with the swipe by Lucas.
So the Braves have the leadoff man on in the home 5th. And now Freddie Freeman, who's walked and struck out tonight, 0 for 1.
Struck out Freeman, remember, with the changeup and those sliders down and in.
Simmons not a big base stealer. And he tries to tie up Freeman. Misses 1-1.
Well, that's what he's done the whole game. He's pitching Freeman inside with that little slider. Wants him to throw over, I believe.
Fastball in for a strike. Freeman didn't think so.
Well, it's a strike. It's below the letters. That's a strike. That's belt high. I know they don't call that pitch, but they start calling it.
DeGrom ahead of the count, 1-2. Simmons runs, and no throw by d'Arnaud. Simmons has his 3rd stolen base of the year.
Good pitch to steal on. You can't predict this when you're trying to steal a base, but no way that d'Arnaud could throw a good jump.
So the Braves, who stole 3 bases last night, have their first in this game. A runner in scoring position for Freeman. 2-2 the count. And he golfs one foul.
Let's see if Freeman pulls the ball here. You got a tight ball game here. Or just slightly past the halfway mark. 2-run lead. Runner on second, no outs.
Do you want your number 3 hitter thinking in those terms?
He should be able to find. Now he's got a bat. He's got 2 strikes. He's got to bear down.
But I guess what I'm asking you is, do you want your 3 hitter to sell out to hitting it to the right side?
No, not sell out. Drive something into that to the left side of the shortstop. So that gives you. You can go up the middle.
Right.
You can go to. You can go right at Tejada's left, 1 step, and over to right field.
Out to center, deep. Lagares back and gets there. Tagging at second, Simmons. He'll move to third. Ball hit directly over Lagares' head, and he made that look easy for the first out.
By the way, Lagares made a catch last night that was spectacular. Not the catch itself, but how far he had to run for that ball, Gary, up against the left center field wall.
Well, that's the thing about Juan. He doesn't make spectacular catches. He gets to balls and makes it look easy on balls that other players might have to dive for. It was the one he made on Upton yesterday.
And this is just all of it. It's the catch is difficult. Look where he starts. Look how much ground he ran covered. That is just terrific. I mean, that's an on-the-run catch. If he gets there, that's an easy catch for him. It's the ground he covered.
Infield in for Justin Upton, and he fouls off the first pitch slider. Upton's been up twice, struck out both times, and now DeGrom needs a strikeout with Simmons at third and 1 out. Nice one inside, but he missed. 1-1.
Nice try.
Well, Simmons, Upton had a runner at third and less than 2 out in the first inning and struck out, so he's now 9 for 18 in those situations this year. Just under the league average. 1-1.
There you go.
Gets ahead of him with a fastball, 1-2.
He does not shorten up his swing or make it more compact, would be a better word. Still swinging like he wants to hit a 2-run home run, and that's a big run out there. And he's got He's swinging from his shoestrings.
DeGrom ahead 1-2. And a good stop by d'Arnaud to keep Simmons at third base. DeGrom right at 100 pitches for the night, working with 1 out in the 5th.
He shook off fastball away. He wants to go inside with the fastball. And if he gets it at the letters, he's going to get him. I mean, for me, okay, I know I'm being kind of critical of Upton here, but he walks around, takes a swing on a mistake with a big swing, fouls it back, and then kind of comes across the plate like, oh, should have killed that pitch. Well, you got two, you're swinging for the downs. That was a pitch to hit.
Again, the 2-2. Struck him out. DeGrom blew it by Upton again. Third time he struck out Justin Upton tonight.
All fastballs. Came right back inside. Beautiful. And the big long swing, you're not going to catch up to it.
7 strikeouts for DeGrom. That a key one to keep Simmons at third. Now 2 out. The infield can drop back. Jason Hayward the batter. Hayward chopped one in front of second base for an infield hit his last time up. And has to move his feet. Ball 1.
You got the right hand hitting Johnson behind Hayward, who's 2 for 2. This is the guy you want to go out and go after and get.
DeGrom almost certainly will be done after this inning, trying to finish on a positive. 103 pitches deep. Down in the game 3-1. All the runs came with one swing by Johnson back in the first. Now he's behind on Hayward 2-0. We're at the bottom of the 8th now in Washington with the Nats up 4-3, trying to knock off the Rockies again.
That would be a sweep, wouldn't it? I think they beat them the first 2 nights.
Not sure if they play tomorrow or not.
Then it would be 3 straight over.
DeGrom behind 2-0. And Hayward watches one on the outside corner. 2-1.
Threw it by him. Just shocked at what I'm seeing. Have seen this year offensively from the National League.
Gonzalez Herman getting up in the bullpen. DeGrom trying to finish off the Braves in the bottom of the 5th. Up and away and a full count to Hayward. Danny Evelyn gets up alongside Herman. So this could be DeGrom's last batter either way. If he walks Hayward, might see Herman to come in to face Johnson. Jacob has walked 2, struck out 7. Struck him out, or did he? He got a piece. In and out of the mid of d'Arnaud.
Good pitch. Painting the outside corner knees. Just got a
like
piece.
He had it, and then it flipped out.
That is not a good swing. That is just, oh, thank you. I'm still in the at bat.
Darno's mask impact.
Staying away. Oh, that got him good.
Of course, Darno switched back to the conventional mask after suffering a concussion using the hockey mask, which placed him on the disabled list. A lot of discussion among catchers about which one's more effective in that regard. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming to Hayward. And now he got him. DeGrom with his 8th strikeout finishes off his night with a flourish. 8 strikeouts at 5 innings for DeGrom, but a 3-1 Atlanta lead after 5. Looking for their 7th straight win tonight. The Nats just a half game behind, leading Colorado 4-3 in the 9th. And that leads us to our tweet of the game. We're asking you in our Toyota tweet of the game, if the trade deadline were tomorrow, would you consider the Mets buyers or sellers? Let us know what you think at #SNYtweet. Third time through the batting order for Julio Teheran. Eric Young singled, stole the base, and scored the only Met run in the 6th inning. Keith, I know that our guys are going to show us in a moment, but we've got another beautiful sunset developing.
We got the red sky, don't we? Low clouds, flat clouds, the sun setting, orange, like a western sky.
You're such a poet.
Painted desert. It's the kind of skies you get in Arizona. Beautiful.
You know what they say out on the water? They say red sky at night, sailor's delight.
Right.
Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. Meanwhile, there's a hurricane moving up the coast.
It's going to move up the coast and get some rain, aren't we?
Here's the 2-0 to EY, and he chops one foul. Young, Lagares, and Murphy looking to get the Mets closer here in the 6th.
That is the first hurricane in a long while that's gone up the coast of Florida, and it's going to miss Florida. It looks like it's right about equal latitude-wise, just east of Jacksonville. But I think South Carolina is going to get it. Cape Hatteras, as usual.
It's North Carolina.
North Carolina, excuse me.
3-1 to Young. We should be okay. I think it's going to turn out to sea before it gets up to New York, but we may get some rain out of the next couple of days. 3-1 to Young. Teheran has walked only 1, struck out 2. Full count to Young. Three-two on the way. And EY hits it right through the hole, a base hit. Terrific hitting by Eric Young, his second hit of the night, and the Mets get the leadoff man on in the sixth.
He's got both Met hits and the only Met run. Nice, perfect on a pitch, running down and away. A good pitch from a pitcher. And you see Chris Johnson at third. The ball hit too hard to his left, just out of his reach. Nice at bat.
Well, EY wasted no time. First time he got on base, ran on the first pitch, got a tremendous jump, and stole his 22nd base.
Lagares tried to bunt his last at bat, popped up to the pitcher. Chris Johnson in at the corners.
So you would think Tehran's going to pay EY some mind here, and there you go. Trying to do a little better job against the running game. Tehran with Young's steal in the fourth inning has given up 10 steals this year in 12 tries. So controlling the running game, not high on his list of attributes. But he's got that firearm catcher behind the plate in Betcourt. Ball a strike to Lagares. Daniel Murphy waiting on deck. That's filling an early hole in this game when DeGrom gave up 3 in the first. He was able to hold the fort from there. Now the Mets trying to come from behind against one of the best pitchers in the league.
Got him.
EY picked off. Now gets him a rundown. And Freeman tags him out. Well, EY left early the first time and got away with it. Not this time. 1-3-6-3 on the caught stealing.
Boy, and Simmons almost didn't get it to Freeman on time. So that's a caught stealing, correct?
Yes, it is. Only the third time Eric Young's been caught this year in 25 attempts. So 1 out and nobody on, a 1-1 count to Lagares at the plate. And he laces one into right center for a base hit. So Lagares reaching out for the breaking ball and picking up his first hit of the night, the Mets' fourth.
Curveball here, slow one. Lagares, not a bad spot, but he didn't throw the hard one, and Lagares, give him credit, stayed back nice.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Murphy, who has struck out and walked, 0 for 1. Murphy started the night with a 6-game hitting streak, 3 for 9 in this series, and he fouls one away. Tehran has averaged 7 innings per start this year, one of the top numbers in the National League. Coming into the day, Johnny Cueto had the most innings per start of any major league pitcher, 7.3 innings per start. But among the major league leaders in most innings per start, Tehran is by far the youngest pitcher. You got Cueto, David Price, Adam Wainwright, Tanaka, Felix Hernandez. Gonzalez Herman up in the Mets bullpen. So at age 23, Tehran has figured out how to get himself deep into games. 2 shutouts already this year. That just missed. And now he's behind on Murphy, 3-1. Of course, the second youngest pitcher on that list I just gave you is Tanaka, who's only 25. It's easy to look at him and think he's a lot older. Certainly pitches older.
He certainly pitches pretty fine. I don't think Lagares is going anywhere. We're down 2 runs.
Lagares only has 1 steal. And Murphy in a good spot here. 3-1 coming. And he fouls back the fastball. 92. Tehran dials it up when he needs it.
Good cut by Murph. Good aggressive 3-1 cut.
They have to figure Lagares is going here.
I would think so.
Tehran not a big strikeout pitcher. Although he is in the top 10 in the league in strikeouts, but that's not his style, really.
Well,
Lagares not going, and Murphy rips one just foul.
I would think Gary, 119 innings, 103 strikeouts coming into the game as a strikeout pitcher.
But these days,
well,
not really. He's not even in the top 10 in the league in strikeouts per 9 innings.
You know, you're right about one thing. I don't pay as much attention to strikeouts anymore, like I used to. If you saw someone that had the same amount of strikeouts to innings pitched,
right,
you used to go, "Wow, that doesn't faze me anymore." There's too many guys strike out today.
Murphy goes down on the breaking ball. 3rd strikeout of the night for Tehran. 2nd out of the inning. Time to check into the studio. C.J. Papa standing by. Brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. All right, C.J. Daniel Murphy not at all happy with himself after this strikeout.
Take a look at the pitch because Murph's been so. Oh, it's just a little hanging slider down the middle, and he missed it. Oh, took something off, got him out in front. Okay, because it was certainly right down the middle. I wanted to see that because Murph has just been so right on. If someone strikes him out, I want to see the pitch.
2 out, Lagares at first. Here's Granderson. Curtis has driven in the only Met run tonight with a sacrifice fly in the 4th. And Tehran spins him around. Ball's behind 2-0. Curtis 4 for 10 in this series, including a couple of home runs. And that misses outside. 3-0.
It's going to be very careful with Curtis. Got Campbell in the on-deck circle.
Well, Curtis has been very aggressive on 3-0 this year, more than at any other time in his career.
And it's all because of your skipper over there, Terry. He just might put it on. You never know.
Well, I would think in this spot he absolutely will. 2 out. Curtis has been hitting home runs in this series. And he swings and grounds it foul. Now 3-1. Granderson watches well outside, and the Mets have 2 men on. Second walk given up by Tehran. Roger McDowell, the Braves pitching coach, will go out for a conversation before Tehran works to Eric Campbell. 2 hits and a walk in this inning. The caught stealing putting a crimp in the 6th of the Mets. But still a chance to get something done against Tehran if Campbell can come through. Get all the latest on Carmelo Anthony and up-to-the-minute NBA free agency news and rumors on a new episode of the Knicks Blog Podcast, only on the KnicksBlog.com, part of the SNY.TV blog network. So here's Campbell, who last time up put a little hurting on Tehran. He hit a bullet off Tehran's leg. Went for an infield hit. Tehran was able to stay in the game. Magaris at second. Granderson the tying run at first with the Mets down 3-1 in the sixth. So Campbell 1 for 2 tonight. 10 for 23 over the last 6 games as he's got a chance to play every day with David Wright out of the lineup. Mets certainly hope and expect to have David back in the lineup when they get home Friday night. Campbell takes a rip at a fastball. Nothing in one.
And you're right about Tehran, Gare. When he's in trouble and he needs the out, he reaches back for a little something extra. He lets it go.
Yeah, he'll be going along at 89 and 90, and all of a sudden he'll pop one in at 92 or 93.
Guarding the lines again.
And Tehran quickly ahead on Campbell 0-2.
We've seen so many managers in today's games, and kind of not going with the old rule of guard the line 7th inning on. And here we are. We're not really we're in the 6th. But Johnson likes to hug that line at third base. Fastball up.
0-2 to Campbell. He lines one the other way, just foul. Campbell, who's got a good right field stroke, just missed.
Yes, he's a good high ball hitter, Gary, especially up and away. It's not a smart pitch. He's right on it, just a little bit late. Ball kind of.
Foot to the left, and you got yourself a tie game. 0-2 coming. Fouls that fastball away.
He's going after Campbell with heat here. It's 4 pitches, all cheddar cheese.
Final score in D.C. The Nats beat the Rockies 4-3 to sweep that series. So the Braves need to win to stay in first place for another day.
They got a pretty nice back end of that bullpen, don't they?
Yes, they do. Bounce toward third, a foul ball.
That was a hanger. He likes to throw. Okay, I'm getting on to Tehran's game here. He's got a hard breaking ball and an off speed to get guys out in front. So he throws his breaking ball in 2 speeds, and he's got the change. So that's basically his arsenal, and he uses it very effectively.
Again, the 0-2, and he gets Campbell to chase, and he gets himself out of the inning. 4th strikeout for Tehran. The Mets leave 2 in the top of the 6th. Still 3-1 Atlanta. tomorrow. Would you consider the Mets buyers or sellers? A taste of the many responses. Will says sellers, but you need major league ready pieces who can help next year. Bobby says you have to be sellers. Ship out some talented young arms for a future bet. That's interesting. Usually when you're a seller, you're getting rid of your veteran players, not your kids. And the ex-Mets matician says both. Be open to all possibilities.
Yeah.
That's a hedger right there. So
yes.
we have had every side of the equation. Vic Black comes in to pitch the bottom of the 6th for New York.
Vic Black pitched in the first game of the series. Came in the 7th inning in relief of Wheeler. Came in with a runner on first base, gave up a base hit and a fly ball, and was relieved by Edgin, who got Freeman out to end the inning.
Comes in here to face 6, 7, and 8 in the batting order for Atlanta. Johnson, La Stella, and Betancourt. Chris Johnson's had the big hit in this game, a bases clearing double in the first inning. Jacob deGrom had the bases loaded, nobody out, got 2/3 of the way home, got to 2-2 on Johnson, and then he left one in the middle of the plate. Johnson hit one that ate up Campbell, went into left field, and scored 3 runs, and that's all the Braves have gotten tonight. Fastball from Black in for a strike. deGrom went 5, allowed 3 runs, 6 hits, walked 2, struck out 8. His ERA goes up to 3.77 through his first 10 big league starts. And unless the Mets can rally, he could fall to 1-5. 0-2 to Johnson with La Stella on deck. So I don't know if you saw this on the highlights last night. It was a late game in Los Angeles. The Indians and the Dodgers were playing, and the Indians turned a triple play.
I heard about it.
Now, it was runners at first and third, fly ball to left field, runner tags, throw home, out at the plate, throw down to second base, called safe. They went to replay because Terry Francona felt as though they got the out at second. They go to replay, and they overturn it. Out. Triple play. Then Don Mattingly comes in and reviews the play, wants to review the play at the plate. And they say out and confirm the triple play. Tejada throws out Johnson, 1 away. Now here's my feeling about that. Now, I preface this by saying that I think, replay is needed. We're in a technological age. You want to try and get everything right as possible. But the unintended consequence is this. You get someone who's been watching baseball for years, watch hundreds and hundreds of games, never see a triple play. And one of the great things about any sport is when you see something you've never seen before, you want to react. Oh, wow, that's a triple play. I've never seen that. Right?
Okay.
What was the reaction of the fan to this triple play? It's not a triple play. They replay. It's a triple play. They're reviewing it again. It's a triple play. Let's go get a beer. You know what I mean? I mean, you've taken the excitement of the moment out of what is an extraordinary event, and it's a shame. It's one of the unintended consequences of having a replay system.
Well, number one, the ruling was safe at second, so it wasn't a triple play. So the immediate reaction would be it's a double play. So what's your reaction anyway? If it's overturned to make it a triple play, it's still going to be retarded too, right? Delayed. By the way, I love the way you emoted that.
I guess all I'm saying is that we're very concerned now about getting the right result, and it's not just baseball. I mean, football's had this for years too. Part of watching a sport is wanting to see your team win.
Yep.
Part of it is getting it right, which is what replay is intended to do. But part of it also is the emotion of the moment. You're watching a game, and frankly, the way this sport has progressed, baseball, over the last few years, there's less action than ever.
Yes.
More strikeouts, more time between pitches, more pitching changes. It's less action per time of game than we've ever had before. So you want people to get caught up in the big moments of the game. But with the replay system, on a close play, an exciting play, you almost have a delayed reaction, which is interesting when you think about the fact that we've got a society now where instant gratification is all, and now we're delaying the gratification because of the replay system. And I'm not arguing against the replay system. I'm just saying it's an unintended consequence of what you've wrought here.
I'm with you. We're going to have it. It's not going away.
No, I think it can be refined. I've talked about this ad nauseum. Take the managers out of it. Just have the replay person in New York buzz the home plate umpire or the crew chief. Hey, wait, we see something. Okay, fix it. That's it. Take the managers completely out of the equation. Take the video coordinators in each clubhouse out of the equation. It's all totally unnecessary. If you want to get it right, then just get it right. And it'll take a lot less time and a lot less.
So you're saying on any close play, if it's called wrong,
if New York sees something that they need to review, let them review it. Take whatever it is, the 30 seconds that they need. Take the manager running out of the dugout out of the equation. Take the challenges out of the equation. Take the walking over to the headsets out of the equation. We have technology now that New York should be able to buzz the crew chief and say, we just want to look at it. They hold up the game for however long it is. If they need to fix it, they fix it, and we move on.
Well, I think it could be done rapidly enough where they could confirm, say, with some with conviction that, hey, the guy was out, he wasn't safe, and buzz the home plate umpire.
Whatever it is, right?
I don't know if I like that, Gare. I don't know. I gotta think on that. I'm not.
It depends. What's the goal, right? The goal is to get it right. So now you have a challenge system where sometimes you might get it right, and Stella goes out on strikes for the second out. Sometimes you get it right, but what if a manager's out of challenges? Now you're going to not get it right. I guess my point is that if your goal is to get the calls right, be all in and just get them right, and don't mess with the rest of it. No?
No, I can't agree with you on that one. I think you should. Every close play is going to be reviewed.
Well, that's what you have now. Every time there's a close play, the manager runs out there and waits for his video guy to tell him whether to challenge or not.
I know, but he only has one.
Right, but he can come out on the field 17 times a game if he wants to. And frankly, if we keep the system in place that we have now, that's going to become more the norm. The manager's going to come out on every close play. I'm surprised, frankly, that they haven't done it more.
We should do a text of what the fans think about it, what the New York Met fans think about this. It's food for thought, that's for sure.
Betancourt laces one down the right field line, a foul ball. 0-2.
I just don't like the idea that every play, there might be a game where they get 4 or 5 plays wrong. Although I see what you're saying. If there's good umpires out there, there shouldn't be that many plays in the course of a game.
Of course, but you have the technology, and you have major league umpires sitting back in New York. Just let them get it right. I mean, we have that on some of the plays, right? Home run calls are not subject to challenge. The umpires do that on their own. They decide to go to replay and try and get it right. That's what we had before this system over the last several years. Betancourt goes down on strikes. Darno makes the toss, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Vic Black with a couple of strikeouts. On we go to the 7th in Atlanta. 3-1 Braves. teams defeated the Braves in their 4 World Series losses in the 1990s?
We all know one.
We all know all 3. That's a thing. There was
can't say
that one and that one and that one.
I know that.
Now we've covered it.
And we know the team that they beat.
Yes, we know the team that they beat. You can say the team that they beat. It wasn't part of the quest.
Cleveland, correct?
There you go, 1995. Here's Lucas Duda leading off against Julio Teheran. He takes that slow curve up and away for ball 1. Duda 0 for 2 has popped up and flied out. 1 for 9 in this series. Travis d'Arnaud on deck. Ruben Tejada behind him. The Mets 1 run and 4 hits. The Braves 3 runs and 6 hits. And Duda, another slow curve, hits this one out to right center. And Hayward is there to grab it. 1 away. So Duda's retired. 1 down in the 7th. Now d'Arnaud was fouled out and flied out tonight, 0 for 2. That's the day off tomorrow. Today ends a stretch that began in that 5-game series in Philadelphia that started in late May, where the Mets have played 25 of 33 games on the road. Just 8 home games in the month of June. And while the Mets were a better road team than home team early in the year, it would certainly appear as though all these road games have kind of beaten them down. Mets are 1-5 on this trip. They're now 6 games under 500 on the road this year. Ruben Tejada waits on deck. So perhaps it'll provide the Mets with some refreshment going home for 10 games before the All-Star break.
And they got to pack it up after the All-Star break and go on a long road trip out west again, yet again.
It'll be San Diego, Seattle, Milwaukee, that trip out of the break. d'Arnaud hits it down the left field line, hooking away toward the stands, up and jumping the wall, but
didn't have to jump the wall.
The ball landed at his feet. Could have slid for that ball. That's what a lot of corner outfielders will do there. I think he just misjudged it.
No, he didn't want to get hurt. Tough play.
Very odd the way he approached that.
He took his eye off the ball the whole 9 yards.
I mean, a lot of corner outfielders will go into that slide so that they can reach down and make a play without hurting themselves. Just off the corner with the fastball and a full count to d'Arnaud. Travis got a base hit his last time up last night to extend his hitting streak to 7 games, coming back from the minor leagues. Teheran up over 100 pitches for the night. 3-2 to Travis. And he hits it down the right field line. Hayward chasing, and that ball lands foul. So d'Arnaud going line to line in this at bat. And he'll keep going. Anthony Bavaro, first man up in the Atlanta bullpen. Braves got stellar relief pitching last night. 4 2/3 out of their bullpen, no runs, 1 hit. Difference tonight, though, Craig Kimbrell not available. At least that's what Freddie Gonzalez said before the game. d'Arnaud reaches for the slider and fouls it off. Kimbrell's pitched 3 days in a row and 4 of the last 5, so Freddie wants to stay away from him tonight. Teheran taking him deep. Teheran, of course, 6 1/3, not 7 1/3 tonight. Again, the 3-2 to d'Arnaud. And that just missed ball 4. A couple of pitches during that at bat. that Tehran thought might have been strikes.
That is, I just made a nasty pitch up, and you swallowed the olive on it.
Swallowed the olive?
Yes.
Is that with pit or pitted?
With the pit. That is El Choco.
Well, third walk of the night for Tehran. Olive and all. And now Ruben Tejada. Jerry's Familia, the right-hander. Josh Edgin, the left-hander, up in the Mets bullpen with Kirk Neuenhuis on deck to bat for Vic Black. First, though, Tejada. And Ruben grounds one toward the hole. Simmons on the backhand. Quick toss to second from force, but they can't turn two. Well, he won a platinum glove last year for the best fielder in the National League, and Simmons showing off his skills there to get the force on d'Arnaud.
Nice backhand, nice feed. LaStella should have just ate. It was closer than I thought. But the lead runner is the most important runner. You got to get him.
So now 2 out. Tejada at first, and it's Neuenhuis to pinch hit. Kevin was talking about Kirk earlier and his adjustment to being that bat off the bench and his preparations. He appeared as a pinch hitter last night and grounded out. He has swung the bat very well since coming back from Vegas, and he takes a curveball for a strike. Neuenhuis batting for Black, who looked great in his inning of work. Another curveball, and Tehran,
2 good ones.
2.
Good downward tilts. Beautiful pitch. Not a strike, but tough to lay off. And there's the slow one, getting the hitters out in front.
Well, this is probably the end of Tehran's outing. He's due to lead off the next half inning. DeGrom finished with a flourish in his outing, striking out his last 2 hitters. And Tehran trying to put on the finishing touches on his night. One and 2 to Neuenhuis. And the curveball struck him out. 5 strikeouts for Julio Tehran. He is through 7, having allowed just the 1 run. 7th inning stretch time in Atlanta. 3-1 Braves. Series losses. Well, first was Toronto, or Minnesota, and then was Toronto, and then the Yankees beat them twice.
Yes.
1991, the Braves and Twins both went worst to first that year and met in the World Series. Won in 7 games by the Twins. Gene Larkin's walk-off hit. Jerry's Familia will come on to pitch for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, Familia is going to come off the game that he made the big mistake, the first game of this series. The Mets had the 3-1 lead in the 8th, and he had the double play ball and threw it and spiked it in the dirt. It's good to get him right back out there. He has been outstanding.
Jordan Schaefer will bat for Julio Teheran, leading off in the bottom of the 7th. So Teheran goes 7 terrific innings, allows 1 run, 4 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a chance for his 8th win of the year. Schaefer appeared in the opening game of this series as a pinch hitter, hit a fly ball to left, on which Chris Young made a nice play. And Familia's first fastball in for a strike at 95 miles an hour.
Angry fastball, Gary.
Well, that's a quick pitch by Familia and a drag bunt attempt by Schaefer, and Jerry's on it like a cat. 1 out.
Familia very athletic. No problem.
So 1 quick out for Familia. Remember his outing before the game here on Monday was the game in Pittsburgh when he went 2 innings and threw 12 pitches to 6 batters. The one thing about Familia that has really changed is his understanding that his stuff in the strike zone is hard to hit. B.J. Upton takes ball 1.
Well, he's got a good hard sink. His fastball bores in on right-hand hitters when it's up. When it's down, it sinks a little bit, but it's a hard sink because he throws so doggone hard. And then he's got that off the table slider.
There's the sink. 1-1 to B.J. Upton. B.J. 1 for 2 in a sacrifice tonight. Andrelton Simmons the on-deck batter. The Braves have had only 1 base runner since the 3rd inning. That was Simmons' infield hit in the 5th. Jacob deGrom settled in after his rocky 1st inning. Gave up just those 3 first-inning runs in his 5. Vic Black a 1-2-3 6th. That's a knee-high strike. B.J. didn't think so. 1-2.
That's a strike.
Another quick pitch by Familia, and strike 3 called. 98 miles an hour, and B.J. Upton walks away.
Right down the pipe. He wanted nothing to do with Familia.
'98, that's a Cholula on anybody's register. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Simmons, who's walked, had an infield hit, stolen a base, scored a run tonight. And a release into center field. A hard hit for Simmons. So Andrelton Simmons has his 2nd hit of the night. And the Braves have their 7th. Going to get Freddie Freeman to the plate with a man on. Freeman tonight 0 for 2 and a walk. 1 for 7 in this series, but he's also walked 4 times. In Miami, they've gone to the bottom of the 8th Marlins lead the Phillies 3-0. Phillies in danger of their 6th straight loss. Right now propping the Mets out of last place. Tom Kohler went the first 6 for Miami tonight. No runs, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts.
The Marlins have been having a tough time of late. They're under 500 now. They've been struggling.
Start of the night 5.5 out in 3rd place. Yeah, good stop by d'Arnaud. It almost staggered him. 2-0.
Hung onto this slider way too long.
Familia behind on Freeman, 2-0. And Freddie to rocket into center for a base hit. Simmons stops at second, so back-to-back 2-out hits against Familia. And now Justin Upton will come to the plate, trying to avoid the dreaded golden sombrero. 3 at-bats against DeGrom tonight, 3 strikeouts, including 2 that came with a runner at third and less than 2 out. So it's really been a lost night at the plate for Justin, who's 1 for 10 in this series. 2 on and 2 out. Familia trying to keep this game right where it is at 3-1 as he works in the 7th. And Upton takes a fastball strike.
Boy, he's a hard thrower. There's just no doubt about it. He overthrew on the bat with Freeman. Freeman's got the reputation, one of the better hitters, and he's got to learn to get over that and realize that he's on a par, on the same level, and go out and attack them, and don't overthrow. That'll come.
Upton had a base hit against Familia Monday night. He lines this one to center field. On comes Lagares, though, to grab it, and the side retired. Hard hit ball by Justin Upton, the 3rd in a row against Familia, but this one results in an out. Still 3-1 after 7. State Smokers Quit Line. By Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Speak with Grodner David in Brooklyn or Mary Jean Marino in Franklin Square today. And by Hyundai. Hyundai leaves the rest wanting. Find out why by visiting buyhyundai.com today.
Anthony Bavaro in on relief. He pitched in the first game of this series and was the recipient of a nice win due to that 8th inning the Mets lost the ball game. He did a clean inning in the 8th.
Top of the batting order for the Mets in the 8th inning, down 3-1. Eric Young has been the Mets' best offensive player today. 2 singles, a stolen base. He scored the Mets' only run. Trying to get aboard to start the 8th. And a curveball from Bavaro misses for ball 1. '29-year-old Anthony Bavaro from Staten Island, Curtis High School, St. John's University. Little floater into shallow center. On comes B.J. Upton, and Young retired. 1 out of the 8th.
Well, that first out, and particularly when it's the leadoff hitter, is always the big out. The out you must get.
Here's Juan Lagares is 1 for 3. Single to right center his last time up. Lagares now 6 for 23 coming off the disabled list. Daniel Murphy on deck. And the fastball from Bavaro sits high. So the Mets will be going home to play the Texas Rangers, and it has just been a nightmare season for Ron Washington and the Rangers. 14 players on the disabled list. Line drive right center, base hit for Lagares, his second of the night. Over comes Hayward to play it, and he holds him to a single. And the Mets will get the tying run to the plate here in the 8th.
Both base hits, I believe, off the breaking ball. Lagares going the other way.
So here's Murphy, who's 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. Hit a 2-run homer last night.
Murph had an at-bat off Bavaro in that first game of the series. He was the leadoff hitter of the inning and got a base hit off Bavaro.
Now 3 for 8 in his career against his right-hander. Remember, no Kimbrel tonight for the Braves, so they got to figure out a different way of getting the final 5 outs in this game. And Murphy takes inside ball 1. Anyway, the Rangers have lost 11 of their last 13. They are starved for pitching. They were up 4-1 tonight at Baltimore. Orioles with 3 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and now Texas down 5-4 in that game. So they're going to come stumbling in. They've got another game in Baltimore tomorrow before they come to Citi Field. And they're throwing Yu Darvish tomorrow night, which means, or I think it's tomorrow afternoon. So the Mets will miss Darvish in that series, barring rain.
It looks like it's going to be Tanaka's. I think Tanaka's going to get the start in the All-Star game. He's had the best year.
I don't know. Look at Felix Hernandez's numbers.
That's true.
He's been unbelievable.
You watch, it'll be Tanaka.
I'm sure it will be. I think the novelty of it will win out.
Yep.
But Felix Hernandez, who has been a great pitcher for a long time now, is having the best year he's ever had.
Yep. So I like the All-Star game in the days when they brought in the starters. You know, that was part of the excitement of the All-Star game, Gary. Warren Spahn pitched a couple innings, then Gibson comes in. How are these guys going to get hits? You know, it was exciting.
Well, the game is tilted so much toward the bullpens now. You have to reward both groups. 1-2 to Murphy. Toward the middle of the diamond, Listella with a diving stop and the glove flip and get the force play. Well, Tommy Listella has made quite an impression in his month or so in the major leagues. Here he saves a base hit.
Well, this is first and third, 1 out if it gets by him. That is just a terrific play to rob Murph of a base hit and a Mets of a potential big inning. Nice flip. Everything. Beautiful play.
Well, they say of Tommy La Stella that he has no great tools, not a great fielder, not a great hitter, not much speed. He just does everything well. And he has certainly plugged a hole for the Braves. That's a huge play.
I'll say.
Granderson takes a strike. Jersey strong, you know.
I hear you.
Pride of St. Joseph Regional High School in Montvale. Granderson, a sacrifice fly for the Mets' only run tonight. Also a walk, 0 for 1. And takes a big cut at the fastball and falls behind 0-2. Murphy at first and 2 out. Check swing, and he stopped it in time. Dale Scott with the call, 1-2.
That's a good pitch right there from Bavaro, staying upstairs. 0-2. He didn't swing. He held up.
Granderson homered in each of the first 2 games of this series. Takes the breaking ball at his feet, 2-2.
Well, the people in Atlanta, the fans here, they stay in their seats and they watch the ball game. It's nice to see.
They've had a lot of winning baseball to watch over the last couple of decades. Granderson pulls one foul. I mean, you remember what it was like at old Fulton County Stadium in the 80s when the Braves were dreadful.
The most boring stadium I've ever played in was at Fulton County.
And there'd be 5,000-6,000 people a night there.
And not just there was no one there. It was just a boring park. And it was always so hot.
They started winning there in '91, and they really haven't stopped since. Moved over here in '97, and will be moving out of here to yet another ballpark in 3 years. 2-2. Granderson takes another breaking ball at his feet, and it's 3-2. So Curtis has worked it back from 0-2 to 3-2 against Bavaro.
You know, Curtis 49 walks on the year. Both Gary and I really like him in the leadoff spot. But the Mets need punch in the middle.
Murphy will run. Campbell on deck. 3-2 to Granderson. And he got him. Off-speed pitch from Bavaro to strike out Granderson and get the Braves through the top of the 8th. Tommy La Stella helping out, laying out, and the perfect glove flip to get the second out. Still 3-1 Atlanta. all 21. Got that first batter out.
Absolutely. In his last outing in the first game of the series, he did exactly that. Came in with runners on first and second to face Freddie Freeman in the 7th and got him out on a fly ball to left field.
This time he'll come in to face Jason Hayward, who's 1 for 3, an infield single back in the 3rd. Mets 1 run, 5 hits. Braves 3 runs, 8 hits as Atlanta seeks to sweep this series. And Hayward takes a strike. No Craig Kimbrell, so it's Jordan Walden getting up in the Atlanta bullpen, getting ready for a save opportunity. And there's Walden, who pitched last night. Henry Mejia on call in case the Mets need him. 0-2 to Hayward. Chris Johnson on deck, and then Tommy La Stella. So it's left, right, left for the Braves here in the bottom of the 8th. In the 9th, the Mets will have Campbell, Duda, and d'Arnaud due up. They still have Bobby Abreu left on the bench as a left-handed pinch hitter. Now Edgin with the 0-2. And a foul tip held by d'Arnaud, and Edgin gets his first man again. 22 for 22.
Big slider. John said he kind of dropped a little bit, getting more of a break on his slider. And it's a matter of location. And look at that. That is nipping the outside corner.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Chris Johnson, who has the big hit in this game. That was all the way back in the 1st inning. A 2-out, bases loaded double. That was all the Braves have needed so far. Edgin rides one inside for ball 1. And pitchers have struck out a dozen tonight. DeGrom struck out 8. Black had 2. Familia 1. And now Edgin fans the first man he faces. Well, this was the big hit.
It certainly was. 2 outs, 2-2 count, and a bullet.
All 3 runners scored on Johnson's 2-out, 2-strike double.
Actually, that was a full count, wasn't it? There were runners were moving. It was 2-2?
Yep. Edgin gets ahead 1-2. Coming up tonight, Geico Sports Night. Chris Carlin will have the Jason Kidd to Milwaukee news, the Carmelo Anthony visiting Houston news. No World Cup allowed. Geico Sports Night tonight after the postgame with the always entertaining Mr. Carlin. Tejada to his left, and he guns down Johnson, 2 out.
Josh Edgin has seemed to have settled in nicely. He's kind of found himself, Gary, this year. Just pitching outstanding.
So here's Tommy La Stella, who's 0 for 3. Struck out twice, flied to right. More importantly, contributed a great defensive play in the top of this inning.
Yes, could be the game saver.
And trying to butt his way on with Campbell playing very deep at third. Did not offer. 1-0.
Mets would have had first and third, 1 out if that ball gets through on Murph, off the bat of Murph.
Ball and a strike to La Stella. Just part of being a catcher.
I hear you. Seems like we've seen a lot of it. So many hitters that are under pitches and fouling them straight back. And that got him again. Doink. And the home plate umpires aren't they always so sympathetic?
Well,
they commiserate.
They get hit in the mask too. who would know better what that feels like? Slider off the plate. 2-1 to La Stella. Edge is really throwing two different sliders now.
Yes.
Got that more of a cutter, and then he's got that sweeping slider like the one he just threw. And that misses inside. 3-1. Christian Betancourt, the eighth hitter, is on deck. And that's ball 4, so the Stella draws a 2-out walk. Third walk for Met pitchers tonight. That pitching staff has given up more walks than any staff in the National League. And Edge is not happy with himself about that. He's going to come out of the game. Mets will make a double switch. Chris Young is running on the field. He'll come in along with Henry Mejia. Call to the bullpen is brought to you by Verizon. Braves up 3-1 in the 8th. Mets making a double switch, and we'll be right back. At 9th, Granderson comes out, and Henry Mejia will pitch in bat 4th.
Well, Henry's been doing a fine job since we're putting that closer's role. That ERA is very deceptive. Last time out was Saturday at Pittsburgh. The last time he's given up a run was back on the 18th of June at St. Louis.
And I have to assume the only reason he's in this game is because he hasn't pitched since Saturday, and with an off day tomorrow, Terry didn't want him to sit for nearly a week. Next game for the Mets will be Friday night as they open up their 10-game homestand with the first of 3 against the Texas Rangers. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock on Friday night on SNY. Christian Betancourt's gone 0 for 3 today in his 4th Major League start. A ground out, 2 strikeouts. La Stella at first and 2 out. Time is asked for before Mejia can throw a pitch.
I guess Daniel's not on the same page. I don't know what he wants here. It's going to be one finger down.
Mejia picking up for Edge in here in the 8th, and he throws a first pitch strike to Betancourt. Mejia throwing the bases. Mejia throwing an intentional walk. Those could be adventures.
Yes.
Mejia throwing a pitch to the plate. Much more effective. Tejada makes the flip, and that'll do it for the Braves in the bottom of the 8th. Well, the Mets trying to avoid getting swept. Come to bat in the 9th, down 3-1. Ninth inning, and his team.
This is a tape, folks. Okay. Pitcher's coming in from right field. He's already on the mound. We've seen this now the last 3 innings from this ball club, and they're walking out to their position. That is a disgrace. You run out to your position. That's unbelievable. I've watched it for the last 3 innings.
Jordan Walden will take the place of Craig Kimbrell tonight and pitch the 9th inning. Walden worked the 8th inning last night, gave up a hit to d'Arnaud, but nothing else. Eric Campbell leading off, and with the third baseman Johnson playing very deep, he bluffs the bunt. Walden's had 2 saves this year. Duda on deck, d'Arnaud behind him, and Campbell with a wild swing fouls off the slider. It's 0-2.
Can we see this motion for the fans that are watching tonight? I know we showed it the other night when he came in the pitch, but it's just such an extraordinary delivery to home plate that Walden has.
He fairly leaps off the rubber. One and 2 to Campbell.
I have never seen anything remotely close to his delivery. Watch his foot. He leaps off the mound. He's in midair.
Late swing foul.
It's a very defensive swing right there. 1 and 2.
Lucas Duda on deck. Travis d'Arnaud behind him. If anybody gets on, Tejada's due up. Last night, Terry Collins hit a brave for Tejada in the 9th inning. Told us today that if the Mets had gotten that game to the bottom of the 9th, he was going to move Murphy to third, Campbell to short, and play Eric Young at second. That was the plan. Never got there. Strike 3. Foul tip. Held by Betancourt. 1 down in the ninth.
Upstairs fastball out of the strike zone. Chasing. Got a piece.
Yep. Braves got the batting gloves on.
He's ready.
He generally is. One out. Here's Lucas Duda. Duda's 0 for 3. A pop up and 2 fly balls tonight. 1 for 10 in the series. And takes it wide from Walden. Darno to follow. Mets have had just 5 hits tonight. Out to left, and there's Justin Upton. 2 out. So the Mets are down to their final out of the night. And now Travis d'Arnaud, who's 0 for 2 in a walk. Got a base hit against Walden last night, trying to keep the Mets alive. Abreu out on deck to pinch hit for Tejada if d'Arnaud can do that.
This would be Walden's 3rd save of the year.
D'Arnaud takes the fastball at 98 for a strike.
He's got terrific stuff, Gary.
Remember the first time we saw him with the Angels? Yep. He came in to Citi Field and blew the Mets away. Slider, a good one. And now the Mets are down to their final strike. Smooth sailing on Walden Pond. Just off the plate, 1 and 2.
Close. This is a tough one to lay off, 0 and 2. It just missed.
Well, I've seen Dan Iassogna call that a ball a few times tonight. Now the 1-2. And outside, 2 and 2 to d'Arnaud. That's a lot. Jonathan Neese on the mound Friday night against the Texas Rangers and their opening day starter Nick Tepesch. That's hoping for better times at home after what has been a very difficult road trip. 2-2. Breaking ball, bounce foul. Two coming. Struck him out, and that'll do it. The Braves complete a 3-game sweep of the Mets to finish a 1-6 road trip. They managed just a run and 5 hits tonight. 1 big hit for Chris Johnson off Jacob deGrom in the first inning is plenty for the Braves and Julio Teheran as they win it tonight 3-1.
Well, Teheran was too much for the Met bats tonight. That 7 strong innings, only 4 hits, and of course the bullpen again.